In a peaceful forest nestled between rolling hills, there lived a young deer named Lyra. She was small, with soft brown fur speckled with white spots that shimmered like stars in the moonlight. Lyra's large, gentle eyes were filled with wonder, and she loved exploring every corner of the forest. She had grown up among the towering trees and vibrant plants, and her heart was full of love for the woods that surrounded her. Despite her size, Lyra was known for her kindness and wisdom. She spent her days playing with the other animals of the forest, helping them when they were in need, and watching over the young ones who wandered too far from their families. The animals trusted her, and they often came to her for advice or guidance. Yet, Lyra never thought of herself as anything special. She was just a little deer, content to live a peaceful life in the forest. But deep within the heart of the forest, there was a secret that even Lyra did not know. An ancient magic had been keeping the forest alive and thriving for generations. This magic, however, was beginning to fade. The trees no longer grew as tall, the streams no longer sparkled as brightly, and the forest was slowly losing its vitality. If nothing was done, the entire forest would wither and fade away, and all the creatures would be forced to leave. One day, as Lyra wandered through the woods, she noticed something strange. The leaves on the trees were starting to fall early, and the once bustling forest seemed eerily quiet. The wind whispered warnings through the branches, and even the birds seemed to sing less cheerfully. Lyra's heart sank as she sensed that something was terribly wrong. She decided to visit the oldest tree in the forest, a giant oak that had been there for centuries. The animals often spoke of its wisdom, and many believed it held the secrets of the forest's magic. Lyra approached the tree, her hooves light on the soft earth, and gently pressed her head against its thick bark. As soon as she did, a deep, rumbling voice filled the air. "Little one, you have come," the voice said. "I have been waiting for you." Lyra stepped back startled. She had never heard a tree speak before. "You are the chosen one," the voice continued. "The guardian of the forest's magic. Only you can save us now." Lyra blinked in confusion. "Me? But I'm just a little deer. What can I do?" "The forest's magic is fading," the voice explained. "It was bound to the heart of the forest long ago, but the time has come for it to pass to a new guardian. The old magic is weakening, and only the purest heart can carry its power forward. You, Lyra, have that heart." Lyra felt a rush of warmth and wonder in her chest. "But, how do I protect the forest?" The tree's voice was gentle, as if it understood her fear. "The path will not be easy. The darkness that threatens this forest is growing, and there are trials ahead. But you will not be alone. The creatures of the forest will stand with you." Lyra nodded, her heart pounding with a mix of excitement and fear. "I will do my best. I promise." "Remember, Lyra," the tree's voice said, "the magic of the forest is inside you. Trust your heart and you will find the way." With those words, Lyra felt a surge of energy fill her body, and the ground beneath her hooves seemed to hum with life. The air shimmered with an unseen power, and she knew that her journey had begun. Lyra set out with newfound determination, her mind racing with thoughts of the trials that lay ahead. As she ventured deeper into the forest, she felt the weight of her responsibility pressing on her shoulders. But she also felt the warmth of the forest's magic surrounding her, a comforting presence that gave her strength. The first trial came sooner than she expected. As Lyra walked through a dense thicket, she heard a rustling sound in the underbrush. Before she could react, a shadow leaped out at her, a massive wild boar, its tusks gleaming like knives. The boar charged at her with terrifying speed, its eyes wild with rage. Lyra froze, her heart racing. She wasn't a fighter. How could she possibly defend herself against such a fearsome creature? But then she remembered the words of the ancient tree, "The magic of the forest is inside you." With a deep breath, she closed her eyes and focused on the energy that filled her being. She reached deep within herself, searching for that inner strength. The moment she did, something extraordinary happened. The ground beneath her hooves began to glow with a soft, golden light, and a powerful force surged through her. The boar, sensing the magic, hesitated for a moment. Lyra, with newfound courage, stood tall and lifted her head high. "Stop!" she called out, her voice steady and clear. The boar paused, its fierce eyes softening as the golden light grew brighter around Lyra. The magic of the forest pulsed through her, calming the creature. Slowly the boar backed away, its snout twitching in confusion. Without a word, it turned and disappeared into the thicket, leaving Lyra standing there, amazed. Lyra's heart swelled with pride, but also with wonder. She had done it. She had calmed the wild boar with the power of the forest's magic. She continued on her journey, feeling more confident with every step. As the days passed, Lyra faced more challenges. The forest grew darker, and strange creatures began to emerge from the shadows. There were wolves that howled in the distance, their eyes glowing with an unnatural red light, and foxes that moved like shadows, always watching but never speaking. Each time, Lyra relied on the magic within her, trusting that the forest would guide her. But the greatest trial of all came when she reached the heart of the forest, where the source of the darkness lay. The air here was thick and heavy, and the trees seemed to bend inward as if they were being consumed by the growing evil. At the center of the clearing stood a towering stone altar, upon which a dark crystal pulsed with malevolent energy. The crystal glowed with an eerie, purple light, and tendrils of shadow spiraled out from it, poisoning the very ground beneath. Lyra stepped forward, her hooves sinking into the damp earth. She could feel the darkness pressing in on her, trying to push her back. But she stood firm, her heart steady. "This is the source of the forest's illness," she whispered to herself. "I have to stop it." With a deep breath, Lyra closed her eyes and called upon the magic of the forest. The energy within her flared, and the ground around the crystal began to crack. The shadows recoiled and the crystal pulsed more violently. Lyra took a step forward, her legs shaking, but her resolve unbroken. "You are not welcome here," she called out, her voice strong and commanding. "The forest belongs to the light." The crystal began to crack and the shadows writhed, but they could not escape the force of Lyra's magic. With a final surge of energy, Lyra thrust her head forward, her antlers glowing with the power of the forest. A brilliant burst of light erupted from the crystal, and the darkness shattered, crumbling into dust. The forest trembled, and for a moment, everything was still. Then slowly the trees began to straighten, their leaves unfurling and turning green again. The sky cleared and the air grew light and fresh. The magic of the forest had been restored. Lyra stood in the heart of the forest, her body glowing with the power of the land. She had done it. She had saved the forest. The creatures of the woods began to emerge from their hiding places, their faces filled with awe and gratitude. The ancient tree appeared before her, its roots reaching out to touch the ground where she stood. Its voice, once deep and rumbling, was now soft and filled with pride. "You have done it, Lyra," the tree said. "You are the protector of the forest, the guardian of its magic. You are the heart of this land, and it will forever be safe as long as you walk its paths." Lyra lowered her head, humbled by the weight of the responsibility, but also filled with a deep sense of peace. She had always loved the forest and now she had the power to protect it forever. And so, Lyra, the little deer, became the protector of the forest. She watched over the woods with love and wisdom, ensuring that the magic of the land would never fade again. The forest flourished, and the creatures lived in harmony, all under the watchful eyes of the brave little deer who had saved them all.